one's called Tvori. They're a robust animation and prototyping tool in VR and AR, and they create a highly accessible way for you to ideate and pre-visualize immersive concepts. For somebody like me who's a non-technical artist, I find it very intuitive. When you go into that space, into production, it's a kind of given that things happen the way they do, and the process is, A, B, and C, and that's just the way it is, and you kind of take that for granted. It wasn't until I went to CTNX a couple of years ago and met Inga from Tvori that I realized that there was a new way of looking at storytelling using VR. Up until that point, I had just seen VR as an output rather than a productivity tool. What she showed me was a bit of a game changer, because animators sort of expect to animate via a 2D screen, even if they're dealing with 3D scenes and 3D objects. But what she showed me with Tvori was you put on the headset and you can reach out and grab and manipulate objects spatially. And this was already a killer VR animation tool back then, but in the 2 years since, Tvori's expanded into a prototyping tool that really benefits XR creatives. What are your recent developments in this space?
Yeah, so animation is still the heart and the core of Tvori, and here we can now see how you can animate the user flow when you're prototyping your virtual story or your AR app. And with AR, it's becoming super important to understand what your user is going to see through the limited field of view. And this is how this new use case came to us. And here we can see the mobile AR simulation. One thing was missing, actually. How do we pitch those 3D presentations, and how do we review the spatial apps? How we organize our design reviews as a team, especially now when everyone is remote and we still want to collaborate effectively. And this is the Tvori viewer, which we have just released, and it allows you to export Tvori animations and your design prototypes, and then meet the team and review and talk over that with your customers or with your team members. And this is the productivity, and also for your collaboration and communication improvement of the team and with your stakeholders.
Right. One of the key things I stressed in every one of our IBC sort of weekly calls, Mookie, was I wanted to make sure there was the least amount of friction to the teams exploring these tool sets, because it's such a different way of approaching the pipeline. You kind of throw out what you think you know about the way animation is produced, and you adopt a completely different mindset. And this latest development from Tvori really speaks to that, reducing the friction, because now you can, as an animator, animating was sort of your entry point into creating in VR. But then with these expanding tool sets, you can now see yourself not just animating a linear scene, but using your animation skills to ideate and demo an XR experience, and then present it all within Tvori in a collaborative way. This is a really powerful way of opening up the audience.